What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Jake Shavink here, and it's a new year, and 2023 means we are getting just a little bit closer to the 2023 NFL Draft. So you know what that means. New year, new mock draft. We got count them, two rounds for you guys in this video. We're going to try and traverse through 2 rounds as quickly as possible, but still go into depth and talk about all these selections that we're going to make using the NFL Mock Draft Database Simulator, my favorite simulator out there. And without further ado, let's take a look at a potential trade and much, much more in this 2-round mock draft. All right, guys, here we go into the mock draft now. So, quick trade, obviously you can see on your screen if you're paying attention here. Got the Carolina Panthers on the clock at number 2, making a trade with the Bears. The Bears have now traded back to the 9th pick. They pick up pick 39 and a 2024 first rounder in that deal. Carolina picks up a couple of 4th rounders in the deal. Not too shabby. Carolina gets to move up for their guy. So, Houston Texans, though, starting us off at 1. I feel like this should be more contested, and I think it will be. But I do think Bryce Young is the pick at the moment for the Houston Texans. He's got the best film of anybody, and it's setting protections, it's throwing with anticipation, it's being creative out of structure, being able to scramble, right? He can do it all. The arm talent's sufficient enough. I think he's just the type of guy you want leading your team. But again, don't rule out other guys potentially being in the mix for that number 1 overall pick. Moving on now, after Houston gets their guy, Carolina gets theirs as well. They're moving up to draft C.J. Stroud out of Ohio State. Again, I think the Georgia game showed you a little bit about C.J. Stroud and what he can do. The mobility's been there. He showed it a little bit in the Northwestern game. There's other games where in 2021 he's showing you the ability to create out of structure a little bit. He did enough in that Georgia game to show you that keeping his eyes up versus pressure, a great feel of what's going on around him, even with guys in his face. I think you saw a complete player in that Georgia game. I think Carolina will have seen that too. They're moving up to 2 to select him to be their guy. And no, Matt Corral will not be. Okay, Seattle at 3. They've got a lot of picks here, obviously, as you can see on your screen. We've got 3, 18, 35, and 53 to go through for Seattle. They've got a lot to do. They're going to start off, though, with, again, you can call him the 1A or 1B, whatever you want. This is going to be Will Anderson for sure here, edge rusher out of Alabama. The production is monstrous. It's off the charts. Right, 17.5 sacks in 2021, comes back with another double-digit sack season in 2022. I mean, yes, he wins with a ton of power. He wins with athleticism, right? He's just better than people in front of him right now. He's going to have to change that a little bit. He's going to have to be able to have this, without the speed and power move, he's got to have a counter move. He's got to be able to go to something else. But he can overwhelm you at the point of attack. He's very technical with his hands, and of course, he's phenomenal defending the run. Seattle gets a great edge rusher there who can contribute on all 3 downs. Arizona at pick 4. This feels like another potential move out if you're looking at, okay, Vegas, Atlanta, the Jets, crazy enough to maybe move up to 4, get a quarterback. Listen, Arizona, at this point, you got to select the best player on the board. That is Jalen Carter. I do think that the Cardinals need to get better on defense. I mean, you could argue that tackle's a need for them as well, but Jalen Carter is a stud. Power, flexibility, explosiveness, just the ability to just shed blockers and toss them aside to make plays, no matter if it's against a run or as a pass rusher. He can do it all. People are like, oh, he disappeared in the Ohio State game. Yeah, he's getting doubled. Also, he was in the backfield on one of C.J. Stroud's scrambles, so it's not like he did nothing all game. Trust me, don't overlook the body of work just because of one game where he didn't show up as much. He is a bona fide elite blue chip player in this draft. Indianapolis at 5. Yeah, we're going to go Will Levis here. Probably going to be the darling of the process. Again, just because, he's got the quirk, right? Oh, the mayo and the coffee, that's funny, right? He's going to be tough, leadership qualities. That's all we're going to hear about him, right? And I just think there's a lot of inconsistency still accuracy-wise as a passer, but the arm talent's certainly there. He excels in play action. He pulls the trigger quickly on those throws. He's got great velocity on the football. Can operate the quick game. And we talked about the toughness. We talked about the ability to throw on the move, right? That's all there. Indianapolis now gets their guy with most likely a new head coach. Detroit at 6. This feels like a potential trade out as well. You missing out on the blue chips. You feel a little bit more comfortable at edge than you do recently, I think, with James Houston and now, of course, Aiden Hutchinson, who's firmly back in the Rookie of the Year talk. So it takes Murphy and Wilson a little bit out for me. I'm going to go down the board a little bit here. We're going to get Brian Brzee. No guarantees declared yet. We haven't heard anything. Obviously, there's still time. But, man, it'd be crazy if he doesn't, honestly. I feel like, when you look at the talent that he is with the length, with the power, with the athleticism, the ability to go to many different moves to get in the backfield and pressure. He's got the length to really keep guys out of his chest in the run game. He'll be able to stack and shed. This will be more your attacking guy as well. You've got guys like Alan McNeil who can hold the point of attack and two gap. This guy's going to be a little bit different type of player for you, and I think a really, really good one for Detroit. Make that defensive line outstanding. Atlanta at 7. This feels really simple for them. So much talent on the board here at 7. Quarterback could be in play. I think they've got a veteran potentially in mind, or they're going to keep rolling with Ritter. This is Myles Murphy. Explosiveness in the first step, the power, the ability to get to that long arm move, be able to get around guys, rip, arm over. He's got the club. Like, he can do it all. They're rushing the passer, another elite run defender, a great foil, if you will, to guys like Arnold Ebiketie, D'Angelo Malone. So a really home run pick here for Atlanta at 7. Raiders at 8. This might be the first maybe shocker for this draft. I don't know. It could be. I have them going tackle, and no, not Johnson or Skoronski. This will be Broderick Jones for the Raiders. And why I think this could be the selection, you've seen the athleticism pop, right? Georgia runs a lot of guard tackle counter, right? They ask you to get in space with some of these tunnel screens that they run. Broderick Jones is a phenomenal space blocker, finisher, right? He's got the athleticism and the footwork to be a pass blocker. Improve the anchor a little bit, and we're cooking with gas at tackle. Broderick Jones, Colton Miller, phenomenal duo there for the Raiders. I think Jones is the first tackle off the board, by the way, as well, assuming he declares, of course. Now the Bears move back to 9. Again, 2 tackles in play for them here. Let's do this. Let's get the number 1 receiver for Justin Fields. I think tackle can be potentially addressed later. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to go Quentin Johnston for them. They need another big body who can win the catch point. Chase Claypool does not win the catch point. That trade is silly. You have to kind of swallow that and be like, all right, well, that was kind of a whiff on our part. I just don't see it a lot with him. I think he's the big slot, right? If you're going to go into 3 receiver, that gives you Mooney and that gives you Johnston outside. Again, tackle, I totally get it if that's where they want to go. I'm not going there. Johnston's impressive post-catch with this twitch and the awareness he has. Again, like I said, ball winner, and he's got the speed to win downfield. Capitalize on Justin Fields' deep ball. Pretty simple for me. Philly at 10. This, again, could be edge. Tyree Wilson makes a lot of sense. Jared Verse might make sense. I'm going to go corner for them, and no, not Keely Ringo. I'm going to go Christian Gonzalez. He's going to run well. He's going to jump well. The testing's going to be off the charts. And I think he's really good in zone coverage. He's up there in press at times. A lot of bail, a lot of dominant technique, a lot of cover 3 that he's playing a deep third. So, you got to be able to see him transition downhill. I think he does that well. Good tackler. This impressive ball skills as well. This feels like a really nice pick for the Eagles. I think they can't go wrong if they want to go Porter, if they want to go maybe Ringo or Gonzalez. I just think Gonzalez, I think is a nice fit for Philly. Tennessee, pick 11. Yeah, we're going to go to the well here. They keep going here, and eventually you're going to hit. Peter Skoronski's going to hit. I think he's going to hit. I think the football IQ, this is a perfect kind of fit for him. This isn't like, oh, we're running a lot of zone or we're running, there's going to be some counter mixed in there, but I don't think he's that. I don't think he's below average as a puller. I think he's sufficient there. But the power, the ability to down block, he's going to do a lot of that. And he's got great technique and refinement and pass protection. They finally need to solve this tackle problem. They're going to do it with Skoronski. Okay. Houston at 12. We're going to go Tyree Wilson here from Texas Tech. Going to get you something on defense. You got to have something if you're Houston. Man, they're missing so much. Like Grenard, he's a free agent after 2023. You've got guys like Stingley in there now. You've got guys, like Petrie. Get some dudes up front who can get after the quarterback. Wilson, explosive, disruptive, game wrecker type at edge. man, he's going to test off the charts as well. He might not even be here at pick 12 by the time the draft rolls around, but Houston gets a stud there. They got their cornerstones on both sides of the ball with their first round picks. Yeah, New York Jets at 13. Folks, we're going to do it. Anthony Richardson's the pick here for the Jets. It's very possible the Colts and Jets switch this up, and Richardson's the pick at 5 and Levis is the pick at 13. That might make more sense. I think Richardson gives you a ceiling for this offense that is not available otherwise. They could go the vet route. Now, this could be Tom Brady. This could be Garoppolo. I think it's Brady or bust, in my opinion. I don't think you should go after Carr or Garoppolo. Maybe Garoppolo if he's cheaper, but like, swing now. Swing now while you have the core in place. You have enough picks. You're doing fine. Like, it's time to swing and find your guy, right? Mike White, cool backup, awesome. Zach Wilson's not the guy. Richardson has the running ability. He's got pocket instincts. The velocity's off the charts. The tools are insane. You can get this guy out on boots. He can run himself. The scramble floor is going to give you plenty to work with while he's developing. This is in your Jalen Hurts type of development with a way better arm, right? That's what he is right now. You know, you're looking at like Cam Newton body type, and so I think it makes sense for the Jets there. Washington at 14. We're going to go Paris Johnson here. I think it makes a ton of sense for them. I feel like their offensive line is just full of a lot of B- players at the moment. They don't have the A player. Let's get Paris Johnson for them. Corner's an option as well, but I think Paris Johnson gives you the athleticism, pass protection, you know, great feel in zone blocking. You know, he's still got power untapped in there as well. I still, again, two-handed punch, got to work on that a little bit, keeping those hands, you know, not locked in and not mirrored to each other, keep them separate. But I do think the ceiling is overwhelming there for him. So pick there at 14. Pittsburgh, unfortunately, now doesn't get one of these top 3 tackles, but they will get a top 3 corner in Joey Porter Jr. here at 15. The narrative, it's perfect. 2 years in a row, we're going to get a nice little narrative for Pittsburgh in the first round. It was Pickett at first because they share a facility, right? This is a Pittsburgh. That's a Pittsburgh player. Now we're going to get, again, Joey Porter Jr., who's going to follow in his father's footsteps in Pittsburgh. Tough, physical corner. Like to see him attack a little bit more from off coverage, but when he's up in your face in press, he is a problem. You just got to love that. Him and Cam Sutton. Sutton's done a really nice job this year. It's been a really underrated for him. It builds the defense. I know it's already good, but man, just take the best player available on your board here at 15. Green Bay Packers. You guys probably want me to go receiver, right? We're not even thinking about that. It's Jared Verse, no doubt about it. We'll see what Preston Smith, we'll see if he's on the chopping block or not. Obviously, Gary will be back. So why an edge rusher where you feel like you have 3? Again, I'm not totally convinced about Preston Smith going forward. You have Enagbare, who's very solid in this rotation. Verse gives you a true pass rusher, get after the quarterback, a lot of moves. He's probably going to be a top 20 pick. This feels like one of his best landing spots is in Green Bay. Detroit back on at 17. Now we're going to go corner. Maybe Akuda flips inside. Maybe Jerry Jacobs flips inside to the slot. Let's just add good players. Don't be complacent on a defense that, you know, while has had their moments, has given up so many big plays and over and over and over and over, right? From the Philly game, you know, from late in the Buffalo game, like they've been in shootouts. Let's try and win a little bit on the defensive side of the ball and get Ringo in here who, again, size, speed, ball skills for days. Just work on that, hone that technique, opens up a little bit early, but like traits are there, man. Seattle at 18, we're going to go Trenton Simpson, linebacker out of Clemson. This is your nice overhang space player to work next to Jordan Brooks. Again, instincts are off the charts, can skirt around blocks when he needs to, and he's good at reading the quarterback's eyes. A lot of athleticism to work with, untapped. You've got now Seattle in Anderson and Simpson, 2 studs in the front 7. We're a defense that needs to get better. Jacksonville at pick 19. This is in this weird spot where you're like, Jordan Addison. No, that mirrors Ridley a lot. You've got your slot guy kind of in Kirk. It would have been nice to have Johnston here. He is not. What if Evan Ingram prices himself out of Jacksonville and you can't bring him back? Boom. Michael Mayer it is. I don't think this is totally out there. Again, defensive line edge, also possibilities. Like I said, corner's a possibility, but top three are gone. Just take the best player on the board here in Michael Mayer, who's short area quicks, great body control, great ball skills, reliable player over the middle of the field, who has gotten way better in terms of his run blocking and playing in line in 2022. So get a great player there in Mayer, who, again, continues to elevate Lawrence in this offense. Tampa Bay Bucks at pick 20. This just they're in transition. There's a lot to sort out for them this offseason. Doesn't feel like Tom Brady's back. Quarterback's a reach here after the top four. I even think Levis would be a reach at 20, but again, can't fault them for thinking to go that direction if he were here. I'm going to go Cam Smith for them. They could potentially lose a couple corners to free agency, get a guy next to Carlton Davis who's got that kind of physical play and length to really have two guys almost of the same archetype on a defense that isn't afraid to put guys on an island. So we're going Cam Smith there. New England Patriots, they need a separator. Jacoby Myers is fine. Again, this is like Washington, but at receiver. You got a lot of B- guys. Like Tyquan Thornton's cool, I guess, but like Jordan Addison will create windows for Mac Jones. And it's really as simple as that. I think he's got a lot of Ridley to his game. It feels very much like that. I don't think he's quite Devonta Smith, which is what a lot of people are giving him. I think he's more Ridley. But again, a very good player in his own right. Giants at 22, I feel like this is the fall ends for Jackson Smith and Jigba. There are going to be teams who are hesitant. There's no doubt about it. But, man, the film is really excellent in terms of his route running, release, IDing of coverage, finding space when he can against zone. Like his route breaks are efficient. He's got good pacing. He's a good route salesman. It's all there, plus great feel and ability to create after the catch. He's got reliable hands, good body control, and can find the football at any level of the field. The explosiveness really is the only thing missing from his game. Can he play on the outside? I think so. I think he can be a Z flanker at the next level and be a target hog, whether it's at Z or in the slot. So great pick for the Giants there. Baltimore's in a strange position. Do you feel confident about J.K. Dobbins going forward? Maybe it's Bijan here. It could be. It strangely feels like they want to eventually get a replacement for Hollywood Brown. You have your 3-level guy in Rashad Bateman. This could be Jalen Hyatt here. And it very uncharacteristic of Baltimore because they just usually take the best player on the board, and that feels like Bijan at this point. I just think there's a possibility that you're looking at here with Hyatt being the guy kind of their Hollywood Brown. Win down the field for me. Is a pretty decent frame actually for his size, and he's got the length to kind of go get the football, expand the catch radius a little bit. It feels like they're going to have to go receiver sooner or later, and we're going to go sooner here for the Ravens. Chargers at 24. Yeah, we're going Devin Witherspoon for them. I think, again, Hyatt would have been in play for them. So would Addison. D-line could be in play. I think Witherspoon's the best player on the board at the moment for them. Per se, I don't think Bijan will be necessarily their guy or anything like that. But again, we don't know about J.C. Jackson. There's a little bit of, question marks in terms of who's going to be back next year at corner, working with Asante Samuel Jr. And I think Devin Witherspoon is a player that makes a lot of sense for the Chargers at 20. Bengals at 25. Yeah, so the one thing about this was for the Bengals, it was, okay, we have Daxton Hill in place. Is he going to play corner or is he going to play slot? Like, there's still questions about where he ends up playing. You're potentially losing Jesse Bates and Von Bell. I know you guys don't want to go safety again. I understand. I've got comments about this. We're going Brian Branch, though. Slot, deep half, whatever you need from him. If you want Hill to be more of your roof guy and Branch to be your box guy, that makes a lot of sense. That is great mirroring of what Bell and Bates kind of do for you right now. I get edge. Edge is a possibility. I think it makes sense for them too. But we're going to go Branch here for the Bengals. Minnesota, 26. They need another guy. Thielen just doesn't have it anymore. Osborne's fine. They need a number 2. for days like against Green Bay when Jefferson is shut down. We're going to go down the board a little bit. We're going to select Kayshon Boutte, from LSU. Some interesting stuff going on with him behind the scenes, and a lot of talk about the LSU program and something that happened in the SEC title game. Not going to worry about that, even though I brought it up. Sorry. But like, he's transitioned a lot. Boutte has into the slot this past year. That might have been to help out Jaden Daniels a little bit. That's fine. I still think explosiveness after the catch is there. I think he does a good job finding space. Still is a bigger guy, reliable hands. Like, this feels like a good number 2 that they would have to Jefferson in their offense, and they need it, as evidenced. Dallas, this would have been a great spot. I know Witherspoon, they were hoping for this. We're going to go Clark Phillips. I know he's a little bit undersized at corner. Could be kind of like, oh, why are you picking him with Deron Bland? Like, I get the height thing. He can be like Trent McDuffie on the outside, and I think that's a fair assessment of his game and how he plays and how good he is in coverage. Dallas needs another guy opposite Diggs. Phillips can be the more conservative, sticky man coverage guy, while you got Diggs doing what he does best and taking chances and forcing turnovers. Broncos at 28. Yeah, this feels like an easy one. We got to get some offensive line help. Anton Harrison, I don't think rule him out as a top 3 tackle in this class. Don't rule that out, because I think he's that good of an athlete and really just well-rounded as a prospect at tackle. And I think Kansas City is fuming that they didn't get him at 30 in this mock. Great addition for Denver. They got to protect Wilson. Buffalo at 29. I mean, it falls in your lap. It falls in your lap. They've tried to trade it for McCaffrey. They're going to get a thicker version of him right here in Bijan Robinson. It makes too much sense. I know Singletary is nice. James Cook is nice. Bijan gives you a whole nother level in terms of forcing missed tackles, the ability to go get the football up in the air as a receiver. He's so natural at it. And like I said, once he's in space, he can beat you with creative footwork. He can beat you with contact balance. There's just so much he can do for you. He's almost going to be your number 2 receiver, truthfully. And I know they need receiver help. I didn't love it here. Downs would have been in play, but like, Bijan's value is too good. Chiefs at 30. I fooled around with potentially taking Hyatt if he were available here. I think this needs to be Darnell Wright. Like, both tackles are free agents. Are you going to bring back, legitimately, are you going to bring back Orlando Brown? I think they're kind of happy that he denied their extension offer, because, man, he has not been very good, truthfully, this year. They got to get better, and Darnell Wright's been really good as a pass protector in the SEC. I think it's that simple for them. I know it's pigeonholing a need, but like, you got to find guys from Mahomes. We can't have a repeat of getting the Super Bowl against the Tampa Bay Buccaneer team, or even in your own conference, getting into a playoff game where Mahomes is running for his life every play. Can't happen. Eagles at 31 to round out technically the first round. Houston will lead off the second round here, but Nolan Smith, that's going to be the pick there for Philly. I think it makes sense. His fit makes a lot of sense with Philly. I think the power, the explosiveness, the ability to defend the run, he can do it all. And I know he's coming off a pectoral injury, but man, that the tape screams first round for him. And there are a few edge guys still available that are the same way, but man, Nolan Smith and Christian Gonzalez would be a great haul for Philly in round 1. All right, Houston Texans back on the clock, leading off the second round here. If they feel good about tackle, that's fine. I think they should still consider it on day 2 of this draft, but we're going to go interior, help the interior out a little bit, go grab Osiris Torrance, protect Bryce Young at all costs. Dude's just a mauler up front, people mover, and truly an anchor in pass protection. He's really, really good. Great transfer from Louisiana to Florida this past year. Phenomenal player. Guards just don't have that much value, but Houston is loving that they got him there at 32. Pittsburgh at 33. You kind of got to take the leap here. I know tackle doesn't look that good at this point. I think Blake Freeland's undervalued still here. Don't worry about the grade there at the bottom. That was a C. It doesn't matter. Freeland's a big dude, 6'8", 310 plus. Really good pass protector. I think he's getting better in terms of initial quicks and being able to seal off backside or get in front of things front side as a zone blocker. So I think that's all there with him. I think he's really rounding into a phenomenal tackle prospect. And I think Pittsburgh obviously didn't get a chance to get one of the top 3 in the first round, but they get a really nice player here in Freeland in the second. Yeah, Arizona at 34. There's value here. Isaiah Foskey. Really strong run defender. He's got some moves to be able to chop and rip through as a pass rusher. I think he needs to hone that in a little bit more. But the tools are really just too good to pass up here at 34 for Arizona. Now you've got Carter and Foskey in a really revamped defensive line. That won't have J.J. Watt, obviously, next year, right? So Seattle at 35. We're going to keep going defense here. I know, obviously, Jamal Adams will be back. But let's keep thinking about, the future here. Antonio Johnson at this point in the draft feels like a steal. Throw him in the slot. Let him be Cam Chancellor a little bit for you. He's big. He's fast. He can move all over the place. Like I said, if you want to put him in the slot, that's fine. You want to put him in the box, that's fine. Like, I think he can do a lot of different things for you. He's probably going to be labeled mostly as a slot, but let's see what he can do with untapped potential in Seattle. Colts at 36. I could go tackle here. DeJuan Jones may make sense. North Dakota State, yeah, possibly as well. Cody Mauch. I don't know how to pronounce that. That's my bad. We'll get there. We'll get there by draft time. But I'm gonna go edge. I think Derek Hall is a Senior Bowl guy that they're really gonna like along the edge. Obviously, Yannick Ngakoue potentially not returning. He's a free agent. Derek Hall and Kwity Paye would be really, really nice on the edge. Hall's got great length, a really disruptive pass rusher. Rams at 37. Let's go with BJ Ojulari for them. I think that makes a lot of sense. I think it's a good pick. They need to get more help at edge rusher. They just really do not have the personnel at this point. It's Aaron Donald, it's Greg Gaines that are doing a lot of the work. They need edges who can get after guys. Ojulari has some of the best pass rushing tape in the class. He could be a first rounder easily. Rams get a steal here at 37. Raiders at 38. Yeah, they're going to be looking at this potential possibility. We're going to go Hendon Hooker for them at 38. Again, if McDaniels is back next year because they're truly actually cash strapped as an organization because of the Gruden deal and all that, like, okay, that's fine. You're moving Derek Carr. That's great. Stidham's, come on. We're really not gonna make Jarrett Stidham a thing, right? You got to take a chance here. Hendon Hooker's got a good deep ball. I think you got to work on with him reading the whole field. There was just a lot of schemed up stuff for him, but again, when he hits throws vertically, they are dangerous offense, and he can do that in Vegas for sure. Again, just get him there, help learn that offense with McDaniels, and the results could be there pretty quickly. There's a decent floor with a player like Hendon Hooker. Bears at 39. We're gonna go edge rusher. I want to go tackle with DeJuan Jones. I'm gonna lean elsewhere at this point. I know Bears fans aren't gonna like that, but man, Andre Carter would be really nice here for them, and that's where we're gonna go. So much untapped potential athletically for him. Man, inside move, the ability to change direction on a dime, explosiveness to be able to finish. Man, if he puts it together as a run defender as well, my goodness, the Bears have really got a kind of a cornerstone along that defensive line, and that's a place they need cornerstones. They are really lacking there, and Carter can help that out. Falcons at 40. This is another easy pick. Going to Emmanuel Forbes. Him and AJ Terrell be a great duo. Forbes is the length. He's pick sixes are his thing. He's got ball skills too. A little bit thinner in terms of frame, but I think he's going to be really nice in coverage where you have your number one. He's going to be a really nice number two. Yeah, Tennessee. Let's stay physical, right? Skoronski, physical player. I know we got Chigo Okonkwo. He's a really nice move type of player. Could be more of a power slot. Now let's get your big boy, Darnell Washington. How about it, man? Ridiculously physical blocker in space, and just a monstrous target in the red zone over the middle of the field. Dude's got some pretty good wheels and pretty good route break efficiency for a 6'7", 270, 280-pound tight end. Like, that's Skoronski in Washington is such a Vrabel draft, and I love it. Browns at 42. I think they could get better at receiver, truthfully. Peoples, Jones, and Cooper are nice players, but man, Josh Downs is your third? Whew. Browns have their age guardrails. Downs fits perfectly in that as an early declare. Boy, that would be a really nice trio for Watson to throw to. Jets at 43. This will stop the slide for DeJuan Jones. DeJuan Jones and Mekhi Becton. First team All-Mountain at tackle for them. That would be really nice. I think he's gotten a lot better as a pass protector this past season at Ohio State. I think it makes perfect sense if you're going to go big at tackle that you have a guy who's powerful and got some fleet feet at the position. Jets need it for sure. New Orleans at 44. Defensive line looks a little thin for 2023. But we're going to go down here, actually, to Mozzie Smith, who was tops on the Feldman Freak list. Boy, he's a beast of a run defender along the defensive line, defensive tackle. And, athletically, there's a lot to untap there as a pass rusher. And I think New Orleans, this is a type of really good pick that the front office normally makes in the draft. Washington here at 45. How about we let, again, linebacker room's got a lot of free agents. How about we let Jamin Davis continue to run and chase in space, and you get your Mike here in Noah Sewell. Yeah, Noah Sewell, the stock hasn't been quite what we expected. We talked about him a lot in the spring and early summer. Just didn't materialize a ton, but I think he's just a really strong physical Mike linebacker who I think you can trust to come downhill, and I think Washington has a need there. Green Bay Packers at 46, yeah. I know the 3 safety thing was working really well for Green Bay, but again, Amos, Savage, Green Bay likes to be proactive at positions of need. I think Christopher Smith has a potential argument for safety 1 in the class. I know that's may sound crazy to some, but plays really well top down, a really disciplined player in coverage, can read the quarterback's eyes, great click and close, ball skills for picks, disruptive at the catch point, a violent hitter, a really strong tackler, though, when he's in the box as well. I think this is just a phenomenal fit for the Packers at safety. I think Christopher Smith screams Packer. And I know it's another Georgia defender. I'm sorry, but, he's really good. Okay. Lions at 47. I know they got Malcolm Rodriguez. That's really nice. Let's get him a running mate in Drew Sanders, who's a stud. You can let Drew Sanders, operate as a linebacker coming downhill, fitting gaps in the run game. He's got that ability to just fly downhill with closing speed, physical tackler. And, if you want to get creative with him, you can let him rush off the edge. He's done that, too, at Arkansas. He's a really productive player and really had a phenomenal season after, he transferred out of Alabama and played really well for Arkansas this season. Miami Dolphins. Yeah, let's get Cody, tackle from North Dakota State, who, a truly physical player in terms of how he plays the tackle position, but also just a phenomenal mover in space. So this is the type of player, if you want to keep the physical train going, in terms of running the football in Miami, but you want to have guys who are more fleet-footed, you feel like you have more of these wide zone, inside zone type of players, perfect. You want him to pull, perfect. He can do that, right? He can do it all, and he can play guard if you want to play guard instead of tackle. Either way, has that versatility. Pittsburgh at 49. Yeah, we're going to stop the slide for Javon Dexter, who has, disruptive ability at 3-eye, 3 technique, and 2-eye. I think he can do a lot of damage for you as a pass rusher. Obviously, Cam Hayward's getting a little bit up there in age now, and you'd like to have, more of an influx of youth talent there. Dexter's a really nice pick here at 49. Jacksonville at 50. We're going to go defensive line as well. This is going to look bad because the grade's going to be really bad. I have no idea why Byron Young from Alabama is this low. I don't understand why he's this low. Ignore the D+. This is a really nice pick for them because you kind of have your guy in Devon Hamilton who's going to man the nose, man the little one tech, and be the space eater. Let's let Byron Young do some work because he, rapid change of direction skills, really active, violent hands, club rip, can get around guys quickly, has that explosiveness in the burst. As a rusher, too, I think you put him at kind of your 3 tech, he's going to do a lot of damage for Jacksonville, and that gives you a really nice piece along the defensive line. Tampa Bay at 51, we got to do it. I don't know when actually Jaren Hall gets picked. Again, Spencer Rattler potentially declaring, potentially not. That would be more of a make sense pick here at 51, a lot of ceiling there. But Jaron Hall plays the quarterback position really well. Really good anticipatory thrower, has sufficient arm strength. I think he could operate this Tampa Bay offense pretty well. I think he'd gel a little bit. Good deep ball with Mike Evans. You got Chris Godwin, you got Russell Gage. Like, there's a lot for him to operate within. Otton as well. Like, Hall could step in and potentially, shock some people early on. Patriots. I know. I understand. Okay? I get it. But let's just, for once, just get better on offense. Flood this offense with playmakers. Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry are just not cutting it. Let's get Dalton Kincaid in there to just be a dominant force over the middle of the field. Uber productive, had a ridiculously good game against USC. I think he had 234 yards receiving. This is your quintessential move tight end, space tight end. Great receiver who can do it all. Fluid route runner. Plenty to threaten up the seam. Good straight line speed. Great ball skills. Great body control. Can do it all. Seattle pick 53. Let's add a little bit of receiver youth to this room. Metcalf, great. Lockett getting a little bit up there, but still very, very good. Zay Flowers, be a nice number 3. Ooh, man, would he be. Great route runner, great deep speed, nice, great twitch after the catch, can be a big play threat, but also be a guy who can get open quickly for you. That's the type of player that you could kind of see being comped a little bit more to Tyler Lockett. I think he's more of a Taylor Gabriel type, which is a speedster, but also a really nice separator with great short area quicks and twitch. Giants at 54. I was really tempted to honestly just take Rashee Rice, who I think is really nice value here. Great. We've overloaded the receiver room, but I do think they could use their quarterback on defense. Jack Campbell's a really nice linebacker, man. Really nice linebacker. Great awareness and instincts, athleticism and coverage, but also just a guy who's going to be in the right spot, in the right fit where you need him to be against the run. He's going to be freed up a lot with guys like Dexter Lawrence paving the way, but this is a really solid pick for a Giants team that needs help at linebacker. Bears, I want to do a tackle. Should we just do a tackle? Maybe we should just take a tackle here. I like the fit of John Michael Schmitz up front. Bears fans, you could tell me. You can pretend you've taken Matthew Bergeron. I'm just going to take John Michael Schmitz because I think the zone fit is perfect for a team who's going to be on a lot of boots. And again, it's running a ton of zone. So give me the guy who's going to got the initial quicks and can finish pretty hard as well. When you talk about space blocking and just the athleticism and the cerebral player you need to be the center on this offense, John Michael Schmitz is going to be that guy for you. Okay. Chargers. We've struggled to defend the run so much. Not anymore. Siaki Ika, great fit here. Dude who's going to be able to two-gap. There's some guys that actually the Chargers are going to be losing. I know they've added Austin Johnson. I know they added Sebastian Joseph Day. It's still not working. Get the biggest guy you can in the middle of his defense. Siaki Ika. Maybe make your linebackers a little bit better. Maybe you can. I think Drew Tranquil's a free agent, if I'm not mistaken. Make sure he's back. He's been actually having a solid year for you at linebacker. But just get Ika to eat up space. And honestly, there's some to work with as a pass rusher too, which is kind of crazy for a guy at that size. Bengals at 57. Yeah, I think this will be the fall that ends kind of here for Felix Anudike-Uzomah. I think that there is some question for the Bengals. I think Hubbard's a free agent after 2023. Let's stay proactive here and get a guy in Uzomah who's a very strong, technically refined rusher who has a really good plan of attack, can get to counters at will, and really showed that he's a complete rusher at Kansas State this past year. Dallas at 58. Boy, Rashee Rice flies right into your lap, and he can kind of interchange him with Lamb in terms of playing on the perimeter, playing in the slot. He's going to get you those short buckets for you in terms of working against space. He's good finding space against zone, but he's also a really, really good deep threat too. Was really just a dominant year for him at SMU. Should have been in the Biletnikoff finalist. I don't know why he wasn't, but the production was off the charts at SMU, and I think he could at the very least be a really nice number 2. I know you still have Gallup there, but I think Rice could quickly pass him up and be the 2 to CeeDee Lamb's 1. Yeah, Lions here at 59. we've got 3 studs on defense. So let's replace TJ Hawkinson here and grab Tucker Kraft. Really like Tucker Kraft at tight end. Really physical blocker. So I think there's ability to stick him in line early in his career. But again, really smooth as a route runner, ability to threaten up the seam. This gives you another guy over the middle of the field that's going to stress opposing defenses with Amon-Ra St. Brown. My goodness, the middle of the field is going to be a struggle for defenses to defend. That was really good, defenses to defend. Panthers at 60. Yeah, we're going to go down here. I think Lucas Van Ness, obviously just declared for the draft. There's a lot of explosiveness and power to work with there as an edge rusher. Maybe, he's a little bit taller, so going to have to continue to work on maintaining leverage against tackles, but I think he's really good. And I think the fit, he's not a defensive line. We're calling him an edge. The fit next to, opposite side of Brian Burns would be really, really good for that defense. Buffalo at 61. I think we got to go interior offensive line here. I think it's plenty of time to wait. I'm not taking Voorhees. The power profile is just not good enough, in my opinion. I think you take Cooper Beebe here, who's played tackle and guard both, stick him inside at guard where he's been most effective, and voila, you've got a starting guard for a long, long time. And I think that makes a ton of sense there for the Bills. Chiefs at 62. Let's get a little crazy here. I know they like Carlos Dunlap. Maybe he's not coming back. Tuli Tuipulotu has played on the edge. He's played inside. He's a disruptive guy who's versatile to move around the line. He's got length to get in passing windows, something that Dunlap's done really, really well over this kind of back nine of his career. So let's add Tuli Tuipulotu to Kansas City. Eagles. This would be a great time to add a safety, I think. But notice how there's only one running back that's gone. Might as well just get Jahmyr Gibbs on your roster. Explosive playmaker in space. I think the vision between the tackles leaves a little bit to desired, but once he's got that hole in power, or he's fine-tuned the ability to locate, find that backside, find open lanes, anticipate open lanes between the tackles, you're going to have a complete runner, because I think once he's in space, again, has the explosiveness, the long speed, and has ridiculous lateral displacement when he cuts, and obviously a great receiver as well. So let's add him. Technically, that's it for 2 rounds, because we've done 32 picks now in the second round, but let's throw you a bone here. Let's get the first pick of the 3rd round here for Houston. I think Brandon Joseph would be great foil to Jalen Petrie, who does a lot of work in the slot. Petrie's done, decent job on the roof, but I think Joseph gives you a true alpha on the roof of the defense with a nose for the football, and it's going to be able to create turnovers for you. So that's kind of it there. The mock draft, 2 rounds. How about it? Wasn't that a lot of fun? Hope you guys enjoyed that 2-round 2023 NFL mock draft. Was a blast to put together. If you guys want to keep seeing more 2-round, 3-round mocks, hit that like button and subscribe. Let's get to 1,000 subs before the 2023 NFL draft kicks off. There's going to be a lot more coming soon in terms of film rooms, in terms of prospect stuff. So much coming. So stay subscribed so you're notified when new stuff drops. I will catch you guys, though, in the next video. Farewell.